So let's go to Google over here. And as always, first of all, we're just gonna have a look what is Animate CSS. And that's pretty much responsible for all the bouncing around and showing up and everything for all the elements, right? So we go to Animate CSS and we can see over here what it is, right? And how we can use it. And again, I already made a video about it, so I'm gonna be just kind of to the point, right? So we can download it, or we can download this Animate CSS, or we can actually download the whole thing. What I want to do this time, I just want to do it a little bit differently. I just want to show you how we can actually do that with a brackets extension, right? So here, like I said in the beginning, when I was showing you my installed extensions that I had over here this ACB bootstrap snippets, right? So what we can do over here is, let's say, go over here on the top, and without downloading, we can actually get a CDN, right? So here, if I write let's say first, I'm just going to say that this is going to be Animate CSS. So I'm going to say Animate CSS over here, and then we're going to create. We're not going to create style, nothing like this. We're going to create over here. We're going to close this comment, and then here, what we're going to write is BS3. Now I can see that with this snippet, basically I have all kinds of options that I can add to a bootstrap, whether it's a carousel, where it's actually a block button, right? So if I write a cap, you can see CDN Animate CSS, right? CDN animation CSS, and whatever, all these backbone, right? Whatever, all kinds of plugins and libraries. So I just click over here. You can see right away it creates for me a CDN for Animate Mean CSS. So I don't need to download anything. It's right away in my document, right? And the way Animate CSS obviously works, we just go back, let's say, to the header, right? And we would add a class, and we always need to add a animated class, animated. And let's say over here, we're going to say bounce, right? So every time I'm going to refresh the page, this whole thing should bounce, right? So you can see that it's bouncing, right? And obviously I can put over here that I would want a infinite times. So if I write infinite over here, so you can see that it's bouncing all the time because I added a over here this my CDN for my Animate CSS, and obviously here I needed to create these classes. And what you can always find these classes is over here, right? These are the classes, these are names, right? I chose over here bounce, right? Then we can have flash, or I mean, there's tons of it, right? But by itself, it's not as fun as if you're actually making it with Wow.js. And the reason for that is you actually, if you're adding these classes, right? If you're adding them, right? You need to add it then as you're scrolling down, only then the effects are taking place, right? You don't want them just to be happening while actually only this part of the page has been loaded, right? So you need to actually use it together with Wow.js. So we again go back to Google, and we're going to check it out. What is Wow.js? And again, there's a separate video for that. So if you want to go this into bigger detail, there is a video that you can go and check it out. So here we have a Wow.js. And again, the basic principle is, first of all, I always need to remind you there is a price for that. Let's say if you're going to be actually adding in a real life project, not if like right now when we're just testing and just building it for fun, right? And if we click over here, how to use, right? First, they always ask to have a Animate CSS, which we have it as a CDN over here with the brackets extension. And then obviously what they want is they want this little script, but they want this wow min.js, right? So once you downloaded, what you want is wow min.js, this file, which is I already downloaded, right? The only thing is I haven't added it, right? To link it to my HTML. However, you can see that I have already this little code, right? I already copied it and placed it with my Wow.js file, right? Just a separate JavaScript file. But the most important one is once you download, you want to include this one into your folder, right? So we go back to index.html. We go all the way to the bottom again, right? So here we have our lightbox, right? And we're going to create a little bit more space. And we're going to say that we would want a Wow.js, right? This is going to be the Wow.js one, right? And the only thing we need to do is say script and the source. And the source is going to be, we're going to find it in JS and wow min JS. And right after that, we're going to actually place this actual script. But the script is going to actually be already in the file. So we're going to say script. Again, we're going to write script. And over here, we're going to say this is going to have source. And the source is going to be, again, JS. And this time it's going to be wow.js, right? So this is going to be the actual thing. Now, after that, they tell us how to do. We need to add a class of wow. And then we need to add this animated, let's say, class, right? So again, if we go back over here, and we find it, where was our class, right? So we write a wow over here. And again, we're going to say, let's say fade, I don't know, fade in left, right? So let's go back over here, refresh, right? And now you can see that it's fading in from the left, right? And because we added this wow class, and then we added this animated class. Now, the time when it really shines is the fact that you can see we have these options, right? We have data while duration, data while delay, data while offset, right? And it has all the explanations. What is it doing, right? But when we add these classes, we're actually going to have a case, whereas we're scrolling down, actually only then the animations are going to take place. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm actually going to add these animations so you can see already how it's actually starting to work. So we're going to deal with this header for now, and we're going to say that this is going to have a wow, right? We always need to add a wow class, and we're going to say flip in, and we're going to say X, and then we're going to add these data attributes, and I'm going to say data wow, and then I'm going to say that I would want a duration, right? And this is basically how long it's going to take. I'm going to say that it's going to be like 6 seconds, right? So over here, if I save this, and over here I'll go back, you can see that right now it should be flipping in, and unless I made some kind of mistake, right? So flip in X, and you can see that this is my mistake. What we need to remember with a animated CSS, that it's actually a case sensitive, right? So if the name always starts with these letters, then I need to write it like this. And you can see that right now it's working, right? Right now it's flipping in for 6 seconds, right? If I would write 2 seconds and refresh, you can see that it would be much more faster, right? So you get an idea. And again, there's a separate video where actually I go in much more detail about it. And what we're going to do right now is we're actually going to just keep on adding these classes, right? And what we're going to do, go here, and we're going to go to the photos, and to all the photos, we're going to add some classes. And over here, I'm going to say that this is going to have a class, and this is going to be a wow, class wow. And I'm going to say that this is going to a fade over here in, and this is going to be right. Okay, and then we're going to add some data attributes. So it's going to be data, and then it's going to be wow, and it's going to be duration over here. And I'm going to say that this is going to be like, let's say 3 seconds. And over here, we're going to add this data while delay, and it's self-explanatory. It just pretty much delays a little bit when the animation is taking place. So data while delay, and over here, we're going to write 1 second, right? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to copy this to the first, let's say, first 3 images. So I'm going to copy this. Over here, we're going to find where is our images, right, to our divs. So over here, we're just gonna paste this. The same thing, we're gonna do it over here, these 2 attributes, and then we can obviously just copy these classes too. So I'm just gonna copy this. We're gonna create a little bit more space, and over here we're also gonna, and you can see that how it's actually working, right? And the next one, where is a fade wow in, right? So here. So let's paste it over here. And now what happens is that, let's say we refresh, you can see that this one is flipping in, right? And this one is taking 6 seconds, and while all this is happening, right? And now our header flipped in, but however, as we scroll it down, you can see that we have this delay, but now, right now, all of them actually came in, right? So this is pretty much what this animation does, right? So again, pretty straightforward. Let's just add these over here, these attributes, right? So I'm gonna go back over here. I'm gonna copy this. We're gonna go back over here, and we'll just, with the only difference, we're gonna change these classes. Maybe those ones we're gonna do fade in left, right? So here we're gonna say this one. We're gonna paste it. This one we're gonna paste it. And now what we want to do is these ones we did fade in right. So obviously those ones let's do differently. Let's actually use a copy, and we're going to say over here, paste it, fade in, and obviously we can do over here left, right? And now let's copy this to 2 more over here. 2 more of them, copy this, and let's just paste it over here, and paste it over here. Right, so now we're gonna save this, and let's go all the way again back to the top. Now it's flipping in, takes 6 seconds, right? It's flipping. We're already getting anxious. We scroll down, and now we have both of them. You can see appearing, fading, one from the left, one from the right, right? And if we go back over here to the smaller screen, now they're pretty much going to be doing that one by one, right? So you can see these ones actually fade in over here, then the next one as I'm scrolling, then the next one, then the next one. So again, what we need to do right now is work with these 2 forms and then with the footer. All right, so we go all the way to the bottom, where is our form, and we find where is actually this one, right? And what we want to do is we would want a different one. We're going to say that this is going to rotate in, right? So first we're going to paste wow, and then we're going to say a rotate in, rotate over here in, and then we're going to say again that we're going to use these attributes, right? Because again, I'm not going to go into detail of showing differently because it doesn't really matter. I mean, you can explore this on your own much more better, probably, if I would spend right now half an hour. So here we have first one, and then we find another one over here, this one, right? And we just add again this delay, right? These 2 attributes, and we need to let's say this is going to be a rotate in, so next one we're going to be flip in Y, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to copy this, and we're going to change it around a little bit. So this class, we're going to say that this is going to be a paste, and this is going to be a, let's say that we're going to be a flip in Y, flip in Y. So again, we're just going to save this, and you can see that one is flipping, right? One is rotating, the other one is flipping in, right? And the rest of them is, as we're scrolling up and down, they're actually appearing to our page. Now the last one, what we want to do is we want to have a footer, right? Where's our footer? Footer is right here. So we were going to add a class, and we're going to say class is going to be, let's say wow, and I'm going to say zoom in, or here like this. And then after that, again, I'm just going to copy these to a data attributes, copy, and just let's add, right? And over here, if we actually save this over here, now we should see that somewhere you can see that it's our footer is actually zooming in, right? So the last thing that we want to do is actually add over here this little plugin that would scroll us all the way back to the top.